Anatoly Moskvin was born on September 1st, 1966, in the city of Gorky in Soviet Russia, which is now known as Nizhny Novgorod. Moskvin's life was anything but ordinary. Fluent in 13 languages, travelled widely, and was a self-proclaimed expert on cemeteries. The origins of this unsettling saga trace back to 1979. On a fateful day when he was just 13 years old, Moskvin was returning home from school. He unexpectedly encountered a group of men in black suits. They were gathered at the funeral procession of Natasha Petrova, an 11-year-old girl who had tragically passed away. He recounts the chilling tale of being coerced to kiss her lifeless body, an act that would haunt and shape his future. "I kissed her once, then again," wrote Moskvin 30 years later. In a bizarre ritual, Natasha's mother united them in a symbolic marriage, placing rings on both Moskvin and her daughter's fingers. Moskvin also wrote that his strange marriage was useful and spurred an irrevocable, lifelong fascination with the dead. During his school years, Moskvin embarked on eerie expeditions through cemeteries, often accompanied by friends. One notable location was the Krasnaya Etna Cemetery, situated in the Leninsky district of the city. Moskvin matured into an adult marked by reclusiveness, despite earning a philology degree from Moscow State University. His marriage led him down a path of solitude. Throughout his university years, he remained celibate, never pursuing romantic entanglements, choosing instead the comfort of his parental home and abstaining from vices like alcohol and tobacco. He contributed regularly to necrologies, penning pieces on graveyards and the illustrious deceased. Esteemed in academic circles, he amassed a library exceeding 60,000 volumes on esoteric rituals and the occult, earning the admiration of peers who found his doll collection peculiar yet fascinating. For those curious about the arcane, Moskvin was a wellspring of knowledge on necromancy, the ultimate authority on sepulchres and the departed. His fixation with death's enigma only deepened, leading him to pursue a degree in Celtic studies, delving into a culture where the veil between life and death is thin. His preoccupation with death's mysteries grew, and he found himself drawn to druidic customs, learning that, like him, they too sought communion with the dead through slumber upon their graves. In his documentary, Great Walks Around Cemeteries and What the Dead Said, Moskvin discovered that indigenous Siberian tribes shared this profound practice. In a chilling chronicle of the macabre, Anatoly Moskvin's descent into darkness began with nocturnal vigils on the graves of children he was drawn to, a practice that persisted for 2 decades. Moskvin believed these eerie slumbers helped him discern whether the interred were spirits or demons, a distinction he later affirmed in favour of spirits. The discomfort of the hard, cold earth led him to a grotesque solution, relocating the bodies to more comfortable settings. Moskvin's rationale was that spirits manifested only in warmth, and since one couldn't possibly rest on an icy grave, he devised a method to desiccate the bodies gradually, a technique honed during his extensive travels and study of mummification across Russia. The historian and linguist confessed to his grave slumbers, driven by a desire for a daughter to inherit his grim fascinations. His attempts at adoption were thwarted, deepening his obsessions. He wandered from one necropolis to another, meticulously documenting each visit. Moskvin boasted, "I doubt there's anyone who knows them better than I do," referring to his sinister expertise. He claimed to have frequented 752 graveyards in Nizhny Novgorod between 2005 and 2007, where he would bed down on straw and quench his thirst with rainwater. On occasion he lay in a coffin, awaiting the funeral of the deceased. As Moskvin's contacts with the spirits of deceased girls grew, he began exhuming their graves methodically, later indiscriminately, regardless of contact. He preserved the bodies of the girls he favoured, bringing them home, transforming them into mummified figures, complete with names, celebrations, and a macabre social order. His grim collection exceeded 150, with at least 29 dressed in garments and boots, including a 12-year-old girl he had wished to adopt. One body was even garbed as a teddy bear. Moskvin, who lived with his frequently travelling parents, professed loneliness. He intended to keep the bodies he cherished and discarded the rest to his garage. Moskvin explained that he never vandalized, mutilated, or treated the corpses in contempt. He couldn't even swear in front of them, because you can't swear in front of children, especially little girls. He cared for the bodies as if they were alive, singing lullabies, offering food and fitting their eye sockets with buttons to watch cartoons alongside him. In 2009, Nizhny Novgorod residents discovered the violation of their loved ones' graves, with some bodies missing. Valery Gribakin of the Russian Interior Ministry suggested to CNN that extremist organizations might be involved. For a span of 2 years, the sinister acts of Anatoly Moskvin went undetected, with law enforcement's efforts proving fruitless. It wasn't until 2011 that Moskvin's apartment raid led to his apprehension. The police discovered an array of life-sized figures, eerily akin to antique dolls, positioned throughout his dwelling. A chilling video created by Moskvin served as incriminating evidence, revealing a collection of wedding gowns and vibrant textiles, with the camera lingering on the faces of the girls as a voice hauntingly declared, "These dolls are crafted from mummified human remains." The investigators concluded that Moskvin had taken the garments from the violated graves. Charged under Article 244 of Russian law, Moskvin faced allegations of grave and corpse desecration, offences carrying a sentence of up to 5 years imprisonment. Investigators dismissed any sexual motives, citing Moskvin's aversion to sex, which he found repugnant. For nearly 2 years, Moskvin amassed a collection of young girls' corpses, unbeknownst to anyone, including his parents with whom he resided. His mother, Elvira Moskvina, said, "We saw these dolls, but we did not suspect there were dead bodies inside. We thought it was his hobby to make such big dolls and did not see anything wrong with it." The parents, often absent due to travels to their rural abode, left Moskvin to his solitude, which led him to seek the company of his dolls. Neighbours, taken aback by the revelation, described Moskvin as reticent, with his parents being regarded as amiable. Even the foul odour wafting from his apartment failed to raise suspicion, with the consensus being that the source was elsewhere. Upon further investigation, authorities found music boxes secreted within or beneath the mummified remains, emitting melodies upon contact. Some corpses bore personal identifiers. One had an inscribed gravestone, another a hospital tag detailing her demise, and a third retained a desiccated heart. Alexei Yesin, editor of Necrologies, reflected on Moskvin's writings, initially perceiving them as a blend of romanticism and juvenile fantasy. The reality of Moskvin's actions, actual mummification, was beyond Yesin's imagination. Following a confession to grave desecration, Moskvin was diagnosed with schizophrenia and mandated to undergo psychiatric evaluation. In a 2020 hearing, Moskvin, seeking release to tend to his aging mother, displayed no remorse towards the parents of the girls he had preserved. Moskvin stated in court the following: "These girls are girls. There are no parents in my view. I don't know any of them. Besides, they buried their daughters, and this is where I believe their rights over them finished. So, no, I would not apologise." His hearing was later dismissed, and he returned to the psychiatric ward. At an initial court ruling, Anatoly Moskvin had accused the parents of abandoning their daughters. "You abandoned your girls in the cold, and I brought them home and warmed them up." Anatoly Moskvin also sent a warning to the parents not to rebury their daughters, as he will seek them out and dig them up again. It appears that Anatoly Moskvin had won over some fans as an online petition. Free Anatoly Moskvin was organised by a Gretchen tender online. The petition addressed to then US President Donald Trump read in part, "Anatoly Moskvin is being unjustly imprisoned in a psychiatric ward for showing a great deal of tender loving care to dead children. Please help free him from this injustice." Anatoly Moskvin's macabre actions continue to baffle and disturb, leaving an indelible mark on the annals of history. As we navigate the dark corners of Anatoly Moskvin's story, it's important to remember that this is a tale of tragedy and loss, a stark reminder of the depths human minds can descend to. In the aftermath of Moskvin's arrest, the families and the community grapple with the chilling reality of his actions, striving to find closure and heal. If you found this content intriguing, insightful, or informative, please don't forget to hit that like button. It helps us to continue bringing you such content, and if you haven't done so already, do subscribe to our channel. In our next video, we will explore another fascinating case, so stay tuned, and as always, thank you for watching.